Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
As you can see on our screen, it was someone's birthday yesterday, and we're going to talk all about it. I promise we are. So, welcome back, welcome back to another episode of Abby's Window. And of course, as always, I mean, you can't have Abby's Window without Abby. So, Abby, how are you?
Oh, I'm joining you from the confines of my office today.
I hear you. I hear you. See, that's the good thing about me having the green screen is that no one knows where I am anytime. So, so I could be anywhere at this moment, but I'm in my hot apartment since my AC is not working properly.
I'm sitting in my office with my poop emoji stress ball.
I need one of those. I need one of those.
It was a gift from our EMTs. Well, actually, which is funny. But
that's awesome. Well, I'm going to shout out some folks since we got a lot of people here, and then we'll get started. We'll talk about Mr. Wyatt's birthday from yesterday. But Annette Morris, Melinda Ford, Kevin Correa, Butterspark. Jodie was in the chat earlier. That is multitasking. Trex Edie, James Chadwick, Robert Morris, Drift Lewis. Let's see, James Grant, G Jones, Cheese Whiz 2. What's up? Venomized Joker. Still love that name, by the way. Dave in real life. What's up, Dave? Long time, man. Glad you're here. Big Dan, EJ Movement. Let's see here. Jason Peace, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you. Let's see. Dalton Riley, Shane Loki, Sean Rousset, Krista Zuba, John Cena Gamer 0809. Yeah, let's see. I think Other Mother, Sam, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, I think that's it. And for right now, as I've been saying the last few weeks, if you come in after this, I'm just going to give a blanket hello because we appreciate you. We thank you for being here. So yeah, it was someone's birthday yesterday, Jodie.
It was.
It was. Happy belated birthday to the one and only Bray Wyatt.
He's almost met the mid-30s now. Does that qualify him for the mid-30s?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's... we can say...
Welcome to the club, Bray.
We can say he's in the club. I have not... Someone said something about Alexa's pig. I have not heard about Alexa's pig.
Oh,
Larry...
Yeah. So he's apparently very ill, in a lot of pain, and she's been trying to find a vet that will come make a house call and see him, because he's not able to be transported, but he's not doing very well, apparently. So our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to one Mr. Larry Steve. We hope that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, our pets... If you have a pet or if you've had one at one point, they become family. So yeah, definitely want to send our thoughts to her for sure. It just really sucks. There's been a lot going on lately, so and not all great stuff. So you know, thoughts are with her. But Jody,
Hold the phone. Hold on. Hold on.
phone. We're holding the phone. Jody's got to handle something real quick. So, if you don't mind, chat, I'm going to ask you to do something for us. Since it was Bray Wyatt's birthday yesterday, give me your favorite Bray moment in chat. Let us know what your favorite Bray Wyatt moment has been up to this point in celebration of his birthday yesterday. Let's see if we can bring some positivity and light. Jesse Callan Corner, thank you for joining. Let me know favorite Bray Wyatt moments. I'm gonna ask Jody this loaded question as well. What's up, Nathan? Um, I'm pretty sure she's gonna hate me for this. What's up, Bliss fan? Um, give me one of your favorite Bray Wyatt moments, and I realize that is a loaded question.
Does it have to be a TV moment?
No, not at all.
So how can I not say the day that I met him?
That-
That picture right there, greatest Bray Wyatt moment for sure.
There you go. There you go. A lot of people shouting out the debut of the Fiend.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna go back a ways though. For me, for my personal one, the first time I ever saw him as not Husky Harris, as Bray Wyatt, and I got to see some of his mic work and NXT and all of that. I was just immediately drawn to the dude, like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Something like I knew there had to be, this dude was special, and obviously ever since then he's just been amazing. So that's my favorite thing. It's not really one moment, but yeah. You were about to say something, and I rudely cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay.
But yeah, the first time that I saw Bray on TV was, everybody knows, the Ultimate Deletion match with Matt Hardy, and that was kind of what drew me in, and I kind of never looked back. But I would say my favorite, like, on TV moment, it's got to be the Wyatt family entrance at WrestleMania with the scarecrows and the live band, and it was just beautiful. So.
Wow. Yeah, this dude is he's amazing. So, and I've got to throw in another one too. Robert Moore just said it. Man, the introduction to the Firefly Funhouse was just magical. It was great.
I remember like the first tease that we got with the box.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, what the heck is that? And immediately my husband was like, that's Bray Wyatt. I guarantee you that's Bray Wyatt. And I'm like, what? And I was not convinced at all. And he was like, I guarantee you that's Bray Wyatt. I guarantee you that's Bray Wyatt. And sure enough, he was right.
Sure enough, there he was. Wow. Yeah, what a ride. And it's only getting started. So, stay tuned. Let's talk about that though. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Miss Bliss, and then we'll get to some of the things that may be happening, especially after we saw what we saw and heard what we heard from SmackDown on Friday. Throw that out there. We'll be talking about it. But do we know now who the target is for Miss Bliss?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
We've narrowed it down a little. I think obviously she's interested in that tag team, one of those tag teams. We don't know exactly which individual it is. So we've narrowed it down quite a bit, unless she's swerving us all and she really goes after somebody else.
Yeah, honestly, seeing now twice where Shayna has been kind of taken out, for lack of better words.
Yeah, you could either say that, she's targeting Shayna, or by taking Shayna out, she's targeting Nia Jax.
See, there we go. See, I mean, you got to clear the path, you got to clear the path. And what better way to clear the path than to get rid of two of the people surrounding this person that she's going after?
Mm-hmm.
Because poor Reggie, that's all I'll say. What do you think of that moment with Reggie?
Poor Reggie.
There's really not much else you can say except poor Reggie. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yep, poor Reggie.
Butterspark saying definitely a setup for an actual attack tonight.
I think so.
You think so?
Yep.
I
don't know why. I just have that gut feeling. I think we may actually get some physical interaction tonight.
And we need that.
Yeah.
We
bring it on.
We need that. Yeah. People talking about Reginald saying Dave in real life said poor Simpnol, simping ain't easy. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. But I mean, let's talk about that real quick though. I mean, let's say she is going after Nia. Obviously they have a lot of history with one another.
Yeah, they have a ton of history with one another.
A ton.
I don't know. It depends on. I mean, obviously the title's not in the way anymore. Unless I've completely lost my brain over the past 3 days. Which is highly possible, considering I spent 2 days out of the racetrack and my brain got melted. I think all of us got melted. But, yeah, they've got all that history with each other, and I think it would be a good feud.
Yeah. For
something to kind of come full circle, and we don't know if somebody else is going to get involved, and it's definitely interesting. It's the first time for a while I think we've been kind of like, I don't know. They're kind of like, I don't know.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, I'm all for that. I mean, I think story wise, it makes sense for Nia to be the target. Now, with that being said, if she does get a hold of Nia, do we see any changes happening with one Nia Jax?
I mean, that's possible. It just depends on if Alexa's character is one that changes people like the Fiend does.
Yeah.
We haven't really, I don't believe we've really gotten that question answered, if she changes people like the Fiend does. Yes, she said that he taught her everything he knows, but what if he didn't? What if she thinks he taught her everything he knows? So maybe she doesn't have the ability to change people like he does.
Right.
It's definitely possible that, Nia could change, but it would definitely answer that question as well. Can Alexa change people?
Right. Because, I mean, we thought we were going to see that, and good God, I really still hope we do. WWE, if you're listening, please, please, with Asuka. We need it.
Bad.
Real bad. I mean, do you think they're slow playing that though? Do you think that might eventually happen?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I definitely think it could happen down the line. Yeah.
which would be great because obviously,
Because then you give her the ability to reinvigorate some of the women's roster, kind of like Bray has the ability to, I hate to say it, but Bray has that ability to revive people's careers by giving them that change that they need. So, giving Alexa that ability as well could kind of do the same thing for the women's roster and people that really need a reinvigoration.
yeah, which I think is a cool concept for this.
And I don't know that creative and WWE have really honed on to that. It's possible they have, but if they were astute, they'd think, hey, we can use Bray as a tool. Anybody who needs, their character revamped or anything like that, just have them take a mandible claw from Bray Wyatt. Look at Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Seth benefited from it. Finn benefited from it.
I hate to say, use Bray Wyatt for that, but, why not? As long as it fits with his narrative and the way he wants to tell things.
Yep. Exactly.
It can definitely be mutually beneficial.
I agree. Now, before we get to the stuff from Friday, because there was a lot to unpack from Friday, trust me, a lot. I see we got a Moda alert. What's up, Moda? We got a tweet last week from Mr. Bray Wyatt. Just a simple, understated. Miss me yet? Miss me yet?
And we're just like, duh.
Like, duh, Bray. Yeah.
Duh, Bray. Come on now.
Like, come on, dude. Come on. Of course we miss you. What did you make of that? Because I saw some responses, and I think I saw yours, and you.
I said, duh.
So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think that's an indicator that we may see him sooner rather than later? And of course, I get a phone call while we're talking. So.
That's it. Same thing happened to me too. I don't think it was quite the stab everybody thought it was. I think initially at first glance, you're like, oh, he's poking fun at the zombies. And you could read it that way. I kind of did at first. I was like, is he making fun of the zombies? And then if you really dig into it and think about it, like, I don't know that he was. He could have been, if I'm wrong about that. My bad. But, the makeup and stuff was done by Jason Baker, obviously, and Savini's team, and they are people that also work with Bray Wyatt. So, I don't know. That would lead me to believe that he was likely not poking fun at it. If you remember, I think James Grant was the one that told me this. He DM'd it to me, and I'm like, I did notice that. I'm surprised somebody else noted that. So I don't know if you guys noticed that. There was a character in the zombies that was dressed like cult leader Bray, Hawaiian shirt Bray. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but if you go look at it, there is, and I think my husband might have said it at the time too, like, oh, he looks like cult leader Bray. So I don't know. I was obviously very happy to hear from him, even though it was a duh comment. Of course we miss you. Duh. So I don't know where that's going. I really don't.
Well,
I don't really think it was the stab that everybody thought it was.
Right.
Is very cryptic, and what he says and what he means are often two very completely different things. So,
and the other thing that people need to take into account is that regardless, and I'm gonna use a term, and I apologize for bad language, but this is what it is. Bray is the master of taking chicken shit and making chicken salad out of it. He's just the master of it. They give him a load of crap sometimes, and he just turns it all around, and it fits. And it's like, wow. So I don't think he would intentionally take a stab. And I don't know. I mean, that's just my thought, but I don't think he'd take a stab at it.
especially when somebody that he's working with very closely also did that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like I said, what Bray says and what he means are often two very different things. So,
yeah, I mean, it really is. Before we go to Friday, and I know somebody just said, have you talked about it? I think it was Kevin. Yeah, Kevin, we have not gotten there yet, so you came just in time. Just in time. I don't know I think you got tagged in this, but there was a story where Steve Macklin said that Becky Lynch cut a promo as Sister Abigail back in the day. Back when they were working with at NXT and working with the late great Dusty Rhodes, and they were just kind of doing promo class. And one day, she cut a promo as Sister Abigail, not for anything official, but
because she felt like it.
Yeah, but just because she's freaking Becky Lynch, and
right,
she was inspired. So it got me thinking. What if we're thinking about Lily all wrong? And what if, I don't know, just spitballing here. What if Lily ends up being Becky Lynch? Could it be? Could it happen? And if it did, what would you think?
My knee-jerk reaction is that I probably wouldn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't want to see her play that character, but Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch. She's a very larger-than-life, dominating force, and I don't want her pulled into... How do I put this nicely? I don't want her pulled into a storyline where that's going to not be the highlight. You know what I mean? Like, Alexa Bliss is a phenomenal wrestler, but she's also really good on the mic. And yes, Becky Lynch is great on the mic, but her strength is in the wrestling. So if you pull her into a storyline where she becomes a special character that doesn't wrestle as much,
yeah,
I think that would be a detriment to her.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And who knows? Who knows? And obviously, people can feel how they want to feel, but it could be, if they were to do something like that, it could be a way to ease her back, given the fact that, she's been out for quite a while now after having her child. And, it could be a way. But I do think that I don't think you need her as that, because let's be honest, it would overshadow the brilliant storytelling that they're doing.
That too.
It just would. And
I like what Big Dan said. She's a barroom brawler, not a supernatural character. And exactly. I don't think obviously haven't seen that promo, but I can't see her as a supernatural character.
I agree.
It would be tough for me to put her in that kind of role.
Right. Although I would love, I really hope that there's video and it surfaces of her cutting that promo. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like what they're doing right now. And I'd like to see someone else involved other than Becky, because I think Becky would just overshadow the story, and it wouldn't be fair. So yeah, and apparently people are thinking that you're involved. Maz is saying that you're Sister Abigail.
He says I got lots of secrets.
So, okay. Now, obviously, a lot of people are already talking about this. So let's just dive in. Friday. We got a lot of references
Mm-hmm.
to Fiend, to Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we saw a side of Seth that we hadn't seen in quite some time.
His jacket also looked a lot like Alexa's dress.
I was going to ask you if you obviously picked up on that. So let's start here. Why in the world would they be mentioning him so much on SmackDown on Friday? Just all of a sudden, just randomly. Why are they doing this?
I think there's probably a lot of reasons. They don't want you to forget about Bray Wyatt because he hasn't been on TV lately. And B, it's a circle. Everything's a circle. Bray has said that multiple times. And he didn't just say it's one circle. He said around and around it goes. So it goes in circles multiple times. And I was talking to C Wrestling on the phone about this the other day. And, what if Bray lost something? The Fiend lost something when Alexa turned on him, or if she turned on him, however you want to paint that picture. Something's missing from the Fiend now. He needs it back. Where's he going to get it back from? He can always get it back from Seth Rollins. It's a perfect timing if Becky were to come back and go to SmackDown, and Seth wants to go back to being Seth freaking Rollins.
Mr. Burn It Down.
Take another mandible claw from the Fiend, have another little feud with the Fiend, and maybe that paves the way to Roman Reigns. And, maybe he takes something back that he needed. He let him borrow it for a while. There's been a lot of talk over the past few days about Seth being possessed by the Fiend. I think even the announcer said that at one point. That Seth Rollins is still possessed by the Fiend. Well, maybe he needs to get unpossessed.
That's true. I mean, he to quote the Bible, but not really. He giveth and he can taketh away. So, so maybe he can take away the possession there. So I've got to ask the elephant in the room right now, and a lot of people are already saying it. You got James talking about how they had the Fiend's entrance music in the video packages.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bray Wyatt going to end back up on SmackDown? Is that a thing?
I think it's highly possible. It just depends on, why he went to Raw. Obviously, Raw wanted the edgier content. So then did Fox say, oh, crap, this is popular. We want it back. Obviously Fox is the bigger network. Mm-hmm. They've got all the sports and all of that stuff. So, it's possible that they said, okay, well, this has been successful for USA Network. We want it back. I think it's highly possible. It just depends on where he's going to go going forward. If he's going to have any involvement in Aleister Black's story. Obviously, we know that there's a big feud coming between him and Roman Reigns at some point. Because next to Randy Orton, that's the next biggest feud to me. Because he was such a big part of his history. So, I definitely think there's a feud down the line between him and Roman Reigns. I think it would be a perfect opportunity to bring him back to SmackDown, let him change Seth Rollins back. That gives Seth Rollins the power to dethrone Roman Reigns. Then put the Fiend in a feud with Roman Reigns without a title being involved.
Without the title.
But I don't think you can have, the Messiah defeat Roman Reigns. I think he's got to go back to being Seth frickin' Rollins.
Yeah.
So what better way to do that than to utilize Bray Wyatt's skills, put him on SmackDown, have him change Seth Rollins either back to what he was or something different that's more like, he becomes the face again. You have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. He defeats Roman Reigns for the title. Then you put him in a feud with Roman Reigns, the Fiend in a feud with Roman Reigns, and there's no title involved. So you don't have to go into it thinking that, Bray's going to lose.
I like that. I mean, and I know Bliss fan said something about how can you take him away from Raw right now and everything with Randy's not finished. He doesn't have a win over Randy. Circle. Everything comes back around.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion, but what do you think on that, Jodie?
I mean, yeah, it's all a circle. At some point, he's going to have another feud with Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of on the back burner at the moment. Nobody really knows why. Because, like I said, we've been kind of begging for that cinematic match. But look, fans are going to be back sooner than they think. Very, very soon. In 2 months? July. So, maybe we don't get that cinematic match that we've been asking for. And that's okay, because eventually that feud will come back up. It'll come back around, either with Randy moving to SmackDown or Bray going back to Raw, or it'll be on some Survivor Series pay-per-view where there's no brand involved, or it'll come back around because, like you said, it's not finished.
Right.
So
nothing is ever finished with Bray.
Not when it comes to Bray Wyatt. Nothing's ever finished.
No, yeah, nothing's finished. So I mean, just know that while he doesn't have the win over Randy right now, doesn't mean that he's not going to get it. It just means that maybe it comes later.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personal opinion here. I want to get your take on this. I just think there are so many more cool matchups and different things that they can do with him on SmackDown as opposed to Raw right now. Raw seems like they're really focused on Bobby Lashley, on Drew, and Braun in some ways, and hopefully Keith Lee when he makes a return, whenever that is. I mean, what do you think about the possibilities on SmackDown as opposed to Raw?
I mean, when I first started watching wrestling, granted it was only 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, Raw was the A show. That was the one you couldn't miss. It's not the A show anymore. And I want Bray to be on the show that's going to make him the most successful. And if that's SmackDown right now, I'm cool with that. If that's to stay on Raw, I'm cool with that too. I want him to be happy, and I want him to be able to tell his story the way he wants to tell it without, all the negativity involved. I just want him to be happy where he wants to be, and whichever is going to allow him to do what he wants to do. So I think that SmackDown may be the better place for him at the moment, unless he's got something else in his head that he wants to stay on Raw for.
Yeah.
No, I'm not in Bray Wyatt's head. So
honestly, I mean, I want to see him do all these things with Seth and Roman, but I'll be honest, I desperately want to see him and Aleister Black. I got one day I gotta see that. I gotta see those two.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just feel like they could tell some amazing stories. It could be dark. And the other thing I think people are sleeping on, I know people are talking about Fox and, maybe they want to tame that down a little bit. But let's think about it for a moment. There's a lot of crossover appeal with Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine, and this is just me being silly here, but, Bray Wyatt just happens to be a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders. Could you imagine if Fox had a crossover game between the Raiders and someone, and all of a sudden, to promote the game, the Fiend just pops up in Las Vegas? And could you imagine that?
Actually, I could.
Which would be great. Which would be awesome. And that's the thing about Fox, is that Fox can make it more of a mainstream appeal. And right now, horror, scary, that kind of stuff, it sells.
Mm-hmm.
It sells. And
I think when he initially went to Raw, Fox wasn't so sure about that.
right.
Now they are. They're like, oh crap, we should have kept him on SmackDown.
Right. I mean, let's think about it. When the Fiend was at his height, it was on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and as he went over to Raw, he was still hot. But then, let's just be honest, things just haven't gone the way they needed to, and it feels like he's been handcuffed since he's been on Monday night. So maybe, just maybe, we have Fox saying, you know what, this guy is marketable as hell. We need to have him on our channel. There are so many things. And listen, Fox, if you want to use that idea, that's fine. Just, I'll bill you later for that. but no, I mean, I would love to see him back on SmackDown just because of the sheer I think there are new matchups that can be had there. I mean, honestly, at some point, I'd love to see him and Cesaro.
I've seen him and Cesaro.
Right. I mean, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him and Big E. There are so many different things. I'd love to see him and Sammy.
Oh, gosh. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, so
I wouldn't mind seeing him in a feud with Baron Corbin and change Baron Corbin.
why not?
Kind of like I was saying earlier, you've got a rare opportunity for Bray to revive people and give them the change and have it kind of make sense.
Yeah.
It can be completely mutually beneficial.
Yeah. And James Grant brings up a great point. SmackDown does great with usually not repeat matches week after week, but Raw does it week by week, which is hurting Raw very bad. I think here's what I think hurt the Fiend, and maybe you agree with me on this, Jody, but I think they were so heavily centered on the Fiend and Bray when he first got to Raw that they burned it out. Because they had, let's be honest, I mean, they had Drew, but he still wasn't that big, and people were still kind of on the fence about Drew, if we're being honest. And I think they just oversaturated with the Fiend. What do you think?
I don't know that he was oversaturated because obviously we loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely get what you're saying. The Fiend is a character that's very special, and to put him on television every single week, I'm sure Bray was getting burned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very special character. You can put Funhouse Bray on TV every week, but the Fiend does need to be reserved for those special moments. Otherwise, he'll still always be special to me, but to the general public, he won't be special anymore.
Right. And I mean, like you said, for us diehards, we're there.
I'm there.
I mean, if we had
he could go out there and sit in the middle of the ring dressed up as Sister Abigail again, and I'd still love it.
Exactly. I mean, because we're always going to support him. We're always going to support him. But for the other people that are out there, I mean, you want to make it, you want to keep it, you want to keep the cool factor, you want to keep the element of surprise, and I think maybe Raw kind of lost that with him a little bit, just because they were way too dependent on him, and it wasn't his fault. It was their fault.
Yeah. But we want Bray to be happy and be where he can use his creativity the most. So wherever that is, shoot, could be NXT. Who knows? I don't care. Just put him somewhere where he's happy and able to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw Dave in real life make a comment. We need to put this in the universe. Jodie,
Hmm?
what's your excitement level be for a Fiend horror movie?
Oh. I think I just passed out.
Like, you know what? We fantasy.
You know how long it's been since I've been to a movie theater like at midnight to see something when it first came out? Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably the last installment of Twilight. Like, it's been that long.
Okay.
And don't hate on me. That's my guilty pleasure, one of them. But, you know, I haven't been to a movie theater at midnight to see a movie when it first came out, but that would be one of them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. EJ Movement is combining something with that you would not be very fond of, but you'd still watch it. The Fiend versus Pennywise in a movie.
I don't think I don't. Here's what I see for a Fiend movie. I don't really see a movie like Freddy versus Jason or anything like that. I think I would like to see a Fiend movie going through his entire backstory. Like, I want to learn more about where the Fiend came from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would really like an origin story.
Yes.
You know, Fiend beginnings or something like that. Like, it doesn't really have to be like a jump scare kind of horror movie, like, you know, stuff like that. But I think I would really, really like to see an origin story, where the Fiend came from, why he is the way he is, who made him that way. Like, I would love to see that.
Yeah. I would love to see a movie play out the tale of the man in the woods.
Yeah.
Like that's and I think that's what you're saying is tying all of that in.
Yep. Tie it all together.
And seeing a physical representation of the man in the woods.
Yep.
Wow. Like so who's directing this movie? We fantasy book wrestling. Let's fantasy book a movie real quick.
I mean, you've got to go with I would love to have somebody like Rob Zombie do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy who made Host, I can't remember his name. Like I said, my brain has been melted. Was it Jed? Jed? Anyway, he would do a good job as well.
Mm-hmm.
A Host movie, but if you're really gonna go balls to the wall with this, you've got to pull Rob Zombie in it.
That would be so violent.
You've got Rob Zombie doing all of the, you know, House of 1,000 Corpses and Devil's Rejects and all that stuff. You also had Rob Zombie do a remake of the original Halloween. He's done the backstory before. He did that whole backstory and that extended thing of the original Halloween. And if you're going down that route of doing an origin story, you gotta go with Rob Zombie.
Gene says, rather than a movie, I would appreciate a series. A series could evolve just like Bray is always doing. Can you imagine a weekly series? You know, and you can do it like on HBO Max or Netflix or Hulu or anything. Hell, you can do it on Peacock since they have a tie-in with Peacock now. Can you imagine a weekly themed horror series on? Good Lord.
Poor Bray. we're trying to burn him out. I'd settle, you know, that'd be fine, but I would settle for a movie.
Yeah,
I'd be totally cool with that.
Anything that gets him on my screen, gives me an origin story. My God. Oh my God. Like I so need someone to make that movie. And you know what? If people keep playing around, we're gonna write it. Jodie and I are gonna write it.
Hell yeah, I'll write it. The only
Like,
problem is, if I'm going to do a backstory screenplay, I need the backstory from one Mr. Bray Wyatt.
right. So yeah. So that means, Mr. Wyatt, if you're listening, you have two people that are really interested in writing this story. One you need to contact immediately. You know, I'm not gonna say. Hold on, let me do. There we go. I'm not gonna say who it is, but you know, definitely contact. You know, and we want to write this story. I mean, because this would be such an amazing.
Maybe that needs to be. Maybe we do our own. Maybe we do like a spinoff of Abby's Window every week or something, or every 2 weeks, where we write a new chapter. I mean, you know, let's do our own.
Hey, why not? Why not? Yeah, Dave in real life brings up a good name, Wes Craven. Wes Craven would have been great. Unfortunately, he passed, but Wes Craven would have been amazing to do a Fiend Inspire. Oh my God, you guys! Oh
We
my!
should for real do that. Like, what if we did our own and we did like a spinoff, and you know, we could both get like a red light or something, and we sit in the dark with a candle and we do like ghost stories, the Fiend ghost stories or something.
See, you got my juice. You got the creative juices. We're gonna have to talk about this after because you know this could be like campfire stories with Abby or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, for all the people, if you're old enough, I don't know how many of you are old enough.
Are you afraid of the dark?
I was just about to say, yes. Afraid of the dark.
Call it, are you afraid of the Fiend?
See, there we go. All right, we're gonna have to talk about that. Folks, You're Afraid of the Dark was amazing, and that's exactly how I'm envisioning that. Is, you know, submit it for the approval of the whatever it was society. I enter.
Society.
There you go. The
Midnight Society.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my God. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to.
It's
a done deal. We're just gonna have to.
Yeah. Wayne Holt saying Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome too. Yeah, John Cena Gamer. I'm so hyped about that because it's funny. I was getting the words out, and Jodie just is perfect. So we're gonna have to talk about it, and we may have to. Ooh, that's a good one from Dave in real life. There you.
Yeah, I like that. Like, have it from the community. Like,
Yeah.
Write a Fiend story, like an origin. Don't make it like super super long. Something that we could do, you know, in 10-15 minutes or so.
All right, folks, stay tuned. I love that. God, I love that. Oh my goodness.
And then, you know, maybe one Mr. Bray Wyatt will see it and think,
yeah, and I mean, who knows? We could take some of these stories, and maybe someone's like,
I like that.
I like that. I want to put some. Even if someone did some animation and they did an animated version of the story. Listening. Gene is like, I already have so many ideas swirling in my head. Yeah. I'm wow. Dalton Riley saying I'm on it. Cheese Whiz 2 saying I love it.
We need somebody that's a really good artist, Jesse, that can do like a comic book. Like
Jess.
a comic book. for each episode.
Jesse. Sorry, I didn't call her out. Like Jesse.
We can do. That's all she would need to do. Like, just do like a comic book, like one picture that entails. This is what we're going to talk about this week. Draw it.
See, I love it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, and Kobe's thinking it. I'm sure it could include Alexa.
Yeah.
Shoot, I said it. I did so well in not saying that name, and all of my devices just woke up and started looking at me.
Tales from the Fiend. I like that.
I love it. Wow. Poetry would be nice too, Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry.
We'll just pick one every week, and we'll do like red lighting, candles, whatever.
Wow. You know what? I didn't think that we were gonna go here today. I didn't realize that we were gonna have another show that we're possibly gonna be doing. You know, like you said, it doesn't have to be every week.
No.
It can be every couple weeks, you know. Moda saying instead of Creep Show, Fiend Show.
Fiend Show. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Yeah,
I like Tales from the Fiend.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it should be like we have to come up with like episode names too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Jodie and I are gonna talk about this because.
Yes, please, Dalton. Yeah.
Can we have y'all dress up?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm totally game for that.
Okay.
Which is another reason why it might have to be every couple of weeks because, yeah, that's going to take a lot of doing.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Bliss. Yes. Bliss. Just Bliss. Just Bliss. Like American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. So if you're on Twitter or if you're on social media, stay tuned because Jodie and I are going to talk about this.
The man behind the woods. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Wow. Tale from the Fiend.
Yeah, I like that.
Like that. Wow. Yeah, I had no idea we were going to go here, but that would be really cool.
I don't know about fake blood. Oof. That's getting really deep into it.
It's getting real deep.
That's
like,
getting real deep.
You're asking me to shoot a movie every week, Dalton. Like you're asking me to produce a movie every 2 weeks. Which listen, if
we can do a Halloween special. I think we've got everybody riled up now.
Oh, House of Thousand
Thieves. That could definitely be like an episode title.
Yeah. I'm just oh gosh, I'm thinking about it now. An episode. Oh boy. Okay. We'll talk about this. If we keep doing this, we'll be here for another 2 hours.
We'll be here for like 3 more hours.
And we got to see Raw to see. James is like freaking out because James hates horror movies, and he's like, "This is suddenly gone dark." Like James is like,
have Abby's.
Yeah.
We're not going. Abby's isn't going anywhere. I was just suggesting a little spin-off. That's all.
All right, Dave's gonna charge us. So Dave, I'll have to get with you. You gotta send me your bill for that part of the idea. But oh my gosh.
Ooh, backstory on Abby.
Yeah.
See.
Okay, so since this is Abby's window and we talk about Bray, even though this is talking about Bray, but now I'm just like I'm all screwed up right now. I'm Firefly Horror Stories. You just
Yep, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yep.
Firefly Horror Stories.
Yep. That's it.
Fireflies around the campfire.
Yep.
I already have an intro in my mind.
Oh gosh.
Like I've got graphics. I've got all.
Uh-huh. That's it. Firefly Horror Stories. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And you know what's cool about this? What's really cool about this is that even if WWE doesn't have him change other people, we can write the stories where he encounters other wrestlers and changes them and makes them. See, there we go. All right, I'm going to shut up now because the writer in me, yes, Jay. Element. Yes, I am in my element right now. The writer in me.
Me too. I love to write. So
I'm just going crazy with this right now. Oh my God. Okay. Said, do you think we see? What if he returns tonight?
please don't do it until after I get home.
Yeah, please.
And then I would just pass out.
Ooh, that's a good episode title, Sonny. The Sister in the Shadows.
Ooh.
Love that. Yes, Deanna, I have. Not ashamed to admit it.
I did it. So, going forward, if you have any stories that you have written out, now that we've decided that it is called Firefly Horror Stories, or Firefly Ghost Stories, what was it? Firefly Horror Stories. So, if you have anything that you have written out, please send it to me or Jeff.
There you go.
See, Jessie's got graphics on her mind, Firefly Horror Stories.
Wow. Yeah.
I would really love to see, like, here's the title picture, okay? You have the logo, Firefly Horror Stories. And it's like, kind of like Tales from the Crypt style-ish. But, Jessie, if you can draw it, like, have that logo, Tales from the Crypt style-ish. But instead of dripping, like, goo, it's dripping blood or something.
Ooh. Good Lord. Chris, I'm sure you do have a story, and I'd love to hear it. So send it to me. I know you're going to send it to me anyway. So go ahead and send it to me. I'm pretty sure that we will have to wait until like 10 o'clock.
I have a Red Riding Hood cape that I could wear with my hood up with a candle.
Oh, God. And the puppets can...
Wow. Although I'm really bad at doing impressions, so yeah.
Wow.
You know, this is something we could potentially get some participation on from one Mr. Jason Baker, Kyle Scarborough, or I'm just saying, you know. But what I was trying to say is that I am really, really bad at impressions. So trying to do the voices of the puppets introing the episode would be really, really difficult, which is what made me think of, since Jason was the one that did all the puppet stuff in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go for it, Jesse.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Hello, Kyle. Wow. We were 7 o'clock, and holy crap! Like my brain is still just firing off. So we're gonna we're gonna stop this right here because if we don't, we're gonna be on past Raw at this point. Who do I feed future? So contact Jodie or myself on Twitter, or if you're only on Facebook, hit us up in the Insiders Facebook group.
Oh, Jesse's good at impressions. Joe is good at impressions as well.
Joe's good at impressions. I try not to show that I'm good at them, but I'm actually pretty decent at impressions. Wayne Holt saying he does several voices.
Okay, so we need someone that can do the voices of all the puppets really, really well.
Yeah.
And we can have them intro the episodes.
Yep. All right, well, guess what? We're going to stop right here because if we don't, I'm going to storyboard out this whole thing right here live, and no one wants to see me do that. James says this has been amazing. Yeah, this has been great. Like this has honestly been absolutely phenomenal, and you guys have been awesome with all of your ideas. And oh my goodness, wow! You know what, Bliss fan? I wish we could. If he would do that, I would.
Yeah, just ask Bray himself. He's not exactly the easiest person to get a hold of. So,
hey, you know who?
And even if I could, pretty sure there's copyright issues there and about him doing things outside of WWE. So the last thing I want to do, even if he wanted to help, would be to get him in trouble. So
that's right. Can't get him in trouble. So in saying that, we might even have to change up some of the names a little bit, some of the characters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because they do have. So we'll get to all of that. But who knew that when we started talking about a movie that we'd get to this idea,
Firefly Horror Stories,
that has taken up the last like 20 minutes, and all of us are going absolutely crazy. And yeah, so. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Jodie, you got anything you want to say before we go? Because
my brain hurts.
Yeah, my brain hurts and my face hurts from being just like fanboying out.
What better way, like Deanna said, like what better way to support Bray Wyatt than to do some fan fiction?
That's right. That's right. That's right. So. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're past 7, so I've got the schedule up on the screen. I'm not going to go over it, but you see the schedule. If you don't mind, drop us a like on this video, and give us some more ideas in the comment section of this video. Keep it going. Keep the conversation going. And if you are new, please consider subscribing to our channel. We'd love to have you join us. Because apparently we're going to be doing some Firefly horror stories, and why not join us for that? Because it's going to be a lot of fun. So, thank you all so very much. This was one of my favorite shows that we've ever done on this channel. I mean, it really was. So, thank you guys so much for joining in and chatting with us tonight. And we will see you again for Abby's Window next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll probably still be talking about this idea. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.